Welcome, everyone, to this week's podcast. You're listening to One and a Half Asians. I am Wu Yi. I'm joined, as always, by Cody Goodale.
Hello, everyone.
My new plan for this podcast is just let it record. Okay? Because we'll just, start when we feel, whenever we feel is fine. Because keep it as natural as possible.
To be fair, I think the last episode, number 3, was the only one where I felt a bit of awkwardness while recording.
I think it's because of the content just wasn't there.
Yeah, and it's hard for us because we're learning to be talking about the Raptors. It's hard for us to, as we talked last week, to develop our own opinions rather than just regurgitate information we had read previously. And there's just very little information heading out. So unless we do a deep research dive into a specific stat or category or history...
But that's not the way that we are fans of the Raptors, though. I don't think we can be natural enough doing that type of analysis.
Yeah.
Because we gotta, if you compare us to other podcasters, we can't compete because that's what they do. That they're into the numbers.
Yeah, they were doing that before the podcast.
They're doing that as their career.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're a lot of the podcasts I listen to, they're reporters, and they have their show on TV, like a segment on TSN or a segment on SportsCenter, and that's turned into the podcast.
Yep.
That is the podcast. Their broadcast
100%.
is a podcast. So, but where I think we can get fans,
Our
is
niche.
Our niche and our personality. It might not always be about basketball, which is why I like the name so much. One and a Half Asians, we can talk about anything.
Yeah, that's true. It's limitless.
Yeah, so if we talk about basketball, that can be kind of the main theme, but then also if we want to bring in interesting topics, even Crazy Rich Asians movie that just came out, if we watched it and we gave our take on that, that'd be kind of cool.
Are you telling me you want to take me on a man date?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah?
Well, not a man date. You just put it that way, but...
Well, it is man date. It'd be 2 men on a date. Woo.
Why does it have to be a date?
Well, because it's not a time, it's a date. We would be meeting at a date.
It could be a meeting.
Oh, a business meeting.
Yeah.
You want to take me on a business meeting to a movie, Woo? Oh, can we write the tickets off?
Sure.
Yes.
We don't even have a business account.
We'll make one. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, so you can't use it.
No, I'm using it. Hashtag, you heard it here first.
But that's what I like about it, because I listen to our podcast, I edit it, and I listen to it multiple times, and it's very dry sometimes.
Yep.
Because we don't sound passionate, because I think we're trying to force it. Well,
yep.
I think I was forcing it a little bit because there's not a lot of stuff going on. And I think I'm okay, if we're going to be a Raptors podcast, I have to be
serious and do research. And
I have to be serious. Yeah, I have to know about every single thing Raptors related. If I don't know, what am I doing a Raptors podcast for? So I started listening to a bunch of Raptors stuff, and then I'm
yeah, so we don't want to be the people to give our listeners an insight that they hadn't thought about previously.
Exactly.
We want to be the guys
could be about Raptors.
who want to be friends with us.
Yeah.
And shoot the shit with us.
Or it could be about other NBA related news.
That's true.
So for example, I was talking to Esther about this earlier, and it was we want real reactions. You want my real reaction if you tell me something, and I want your real reaction.
Yeah.
So I gave her an example, when certain trades went down, I would say yo, DeMarcus Cousins just got traded to the Warriors.
Yeah.
He just signed with the Warriors, and you were like, what?
No.
And you're like, no, and I'm like, yeah, just read it here, and you're like, no, and I'm like, it's right here, and then that's a real reaction, right?
Yeah. And then I had to go to Twitter and verify and realize that he got paid nothing.
Instead of us coming in and be like, okay, so the news.
I've read every single thing about DeMarcus
Cousins has been traded. Give me your thoughts on that trade, and they'd be like, well, woo.
According to
I don't like it.
a podcast that I listened to earlier this week.
I think it'd be better we just press record. Since we're so new at this, just get used to not having a camera, not having anything
official
yet. But then people will get a better sense of who we are, what our comedy is like.
Yep.
Just chit-chatting. And
have you ever gone back and listened to the first podcast of some of your favorite podcasters?
No.
So I listened to Tim Ferriss's second newest podcast. He had on a guest who, and both of them, Tim and the guest, I forget his name, have been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
And Tim was saying, if you want to see something truly spectacular, go back and listen to the first 5 or 6 Joe Rogan podcasts and see how far he's come.
Joe Rogan? Were they bad? Or have you listened to any of Joe Rogan's?
I haven't listened to the ones that were suggested. I have listened to Joe Rogan, and like the production quality is really good and the content's really good. But I haven't thought about watching his first one so that I could see the juxtaposition of where he came from to where he is. Just like that NKBHD picture that I sent to you about his billionth view on YouTube, and how he was talking about he put up a thank you video after his first 100 views.
Yeah, 100 videos. After
100
his first 100
videos.
videos, he had like 78 subscribers.
Yeah.
And then where he is now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So like that consistent content creation over time while adding increasing production value and content value over time. I think that's something, an inspiration for us to draw on.
Yeah, especially because I've listened to our first podcast. Super awkward. I don't know, for me to listen to it over again.
Yeah, but I feel like you get awkward easy.
I do. It's a terrible quality of mine, but
Whatever, it serves you. I like who you are, so it's fine.
yeah. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I was even listening to it. I let Esther listen to it. I'm like, does this sound like me? And she's like, no, it doesn't. And like, you guys are way too formal. And I'm like, yeah, we're not trying to be formal. It's just, this is what it is.
I feel like this freaking microphone makes me want to be formal. I feel like a news
Kind
reporter.
of. But
Could we
now
cover
that-
this with a beer bottle?
now that we have, I was actually going to bring beer today. Damn it.
Damn it.
I had beer. I just bought beer the other day.
I bought beer the other day, too.
What kind of beer?
Budweiser, king of beers.
You like Budweiser?
Yeah, that's like, out of my domestics, that's kind of my go-to.
I got some Bud Light. Some
Yeah.
nice light beer.
Take Bud Light, but you need the light.
I do. You know, these cans, they're not the normal 355 milliliter cans.
Yeah,
they're like
the tall boys.
Yeah. One of those, I'm
Yeah,
done.
I know.
I'm done.
I've seen it. I've seen it in real
Yeah.
time.
I had to call my parents that one day when
Yeah.
we went out. Like, I just had a pint and a half.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't drive home. I'm calling my dad.
Radler, though. You're on the Radler this week.
Yeah, Radler. I didn't like at first taste, like, it's refreshing. It's nice.
Which was that the Stiegel Radler?
Stiegel, the grapefruit.
Yeah.
At first taste, like, you take a big gulp
Yep.
and it's refreshing, but then as you're drinking it, like, this is too sweet, and I didn't really I like the feeling of a little bit of alcohol. Like, I didn't feel anything though when I was drinking it. It was a little too light. for my-
So did you like the grapefruit? You'd be down with the grapefruit?
Grapefruit was pretty good.
Try the Moosehead Radler, the Moosehead version of the Radler. I find it to be much less sweet,
Grapefruit.
grapefruit, and I think it's a 4 or a 4.5%. So it's a little bit more
Moosehead.
alcohol and a little less sweet.
Moosehead.
Still a Radler.
I've had Summersby's stuff.
Summersby's
ciders.
super sweet.
Those were pretty sweet. I don't really like the sweet stuff.
Yeah, you got to try, like Scott said, try the dry versions.
They're not as sweet, the dry ones.
Yeah, dry means less alcohol, less sweet.
Ah, nice. Might as well just change this into a, you know.
Us getting shittered.
No.
Esther, what do you think of that? Every week.
It would be possible. I just asked her to drive me here.
Yeah.
And then you could
I can take an Uber.
drive. You can ask Casey to drive you here
That's true.
or something, or I can just come pick you up. And
What up, Casey?
Casey.
Oh, Charlie, you're getting the Asian glow, but you're not even drinking.
No, it's just hot in here.
Oh, that's what it is.
Temperature.
Yeah.
These days, like this summer, has been ridiculous.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me. It's ludicrous.
This is like the hottest summer.
It's like
remember.
it's global warming or something.
Like every single day is humid and sticky and over
Yeah.
30.
Although tomorrow is supposed to be 22 degrees and not.
I know. So actually, I thought that was supposed to be today. So I was like, yes, when we're recording, it's gonna be nice in the store. But then I'm like, looked at the date again. And it's like
Damn it.
over 30.
Yeah.
It's not too bad in here right now. We got the fan going.
Yeah. It's better.
But
Nice cold beer would have been perfect.
I'll bring one next time.
One? We're going to split it?
No, I'll bring two. I'll be responsible.
Just
I got
teasing you, Will.
some hard stuff, but maybe when we have our guests,
We'll bust out hard stuff?
Bust out the hard stuff just to kind of get it more casual and
Yeah.
fun and
Relaxed
easygoing.
vibe.
Yeah. Which I think our first guest will be delighted to hear that we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, Ricky.
Ricky and possibly Scott if he's
Oh, yeah.
listening. Scott, we need you back in Burlington.
Yeah, man. What's going on in Toronto? You need to come back.
There's a lot of stuff going on in Toronto, Cody.
I know, Woo. I drive in. I see things.
The weirdest thing happened the other day. I was cutting the grass, and I got stung by a wasp.
Where?
My ankle. I was like, I just finished cutting my grass too,
Yeah.
and as I was walking off the lawn, I felt something like just stabbing my. You know, like when you have like a piece of grass or something in your shoe. Like let's say
Yeah.
you're like walking and you just have to stop and you get it out and you're fine.
Yep.
Or like a rock that's something that's just bothering you. Well, I thought like I stepped on like a twig or something and like, you know how like if it's a weird twig, it like just bends and then it might
Yeah.
jab into your ankle. So I
Yeah.
thought I stepped on like a flexible twig.
Okay.
So I just kept like walking. I just like shook my leg off, kept walking, and it kept like pushing
Stinging?
in. Yeah. So I looked down and there's a freaking wasp on my leg,
Oh, jeez.
and like it was like trying to get its stinger out of my ankle.
Yeah.
And I could see the stinger detaching from the wasp.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting. and I don't really like touching like bugs, so I'd
Yeah.
like find something I could like on the
Swat
ground
it
like a
away?
leaf, and I like took it off, but I was like terrified and in pain, like it just was throbbing.
Yeah.
I'm not allergic to wasps or bees or anything, but like,
Thank the Lord.
but it felt tender the whole day.
Yeah.
So then it started welting up a little bit. I tried to squeeze out some of the venom, so it started bleeding, and I'm like, ah, crap. And then took a shower, kind of babied all day. I was like, I got stung by a wasp.
You didn't get babied. You wanted
Yeah.
to be babied.
So Esther like put the ice pack on my ankle, and she's like, just for today, just because you say it hurts. And I'm like, it hurts so bad. So I was complaining like the whole day, even though like midday it didn't really hurt anymore. And I was like,
You really milked it, is what you're saying.
Midday it didn't really hurt anymore. Whenever she would ask me, which she probably doesn't want to hear this on the on the podcast. I'm like, it still hurts. I still feel like my Achilles. It's going to my Achilles. I feel like my Achilles is gonna snap.
Oh, jeez.
And then she'd be like, oh no, and then she'd get me the ice pack again.
Oh, woo.
But I'm fine now. It's just itchy. I don't remember being like.
You want me to get you an ice pack?
No, I'm good. But I remember being stung before, like on my hand, like when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't remember anything about like how it felt.
Yeah.
But
So you just said, and I quote, I remember being stung when I was like 5 years old, but I don't remember anything about it.
no, I don't remember how it felt.
Oh.
I definitely remember what this felt like.
Well, yeah, 'cause it was like
just a few days ago. But when I was younger, I was just cry for anything.
Cried a lot?
Yeah. I remember like my dad telling me I had to like suck the venom out.
Yeah.
So I was like, no.
I don't want venom in my mouth.
So he did it for me.
Nice.
He's being a good father.
It's nice, Uppa.
Yeah. Which I finished. I told you I finished the
No, you finished.
Kim's Convenience.
Yeah?
Yeah. I finished. I didn't like it at the beginning. Like
know you didn't.
like first few episodes, I was watching Kim's Convenience, and
You
I was
were
like,
very upset.
you know what? This is nothing, because I grew up in that life.
Yeah.
You know, my living above the store and my dad running a convenience store. When he first came to Canada, before he started his health business, and convenience stores were actually really good business back then. Like, you could pull in like 60 to 80,000 at that time.
Yeah.
Like in the 80s, with a convenience store.
Damn.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Small transactions, high margins, just
Yeah, it was
large volume.
It was huge, and you don't have to. And he ran a private convenience. Like, it's not like a Becker's, or it's
Yeah,
not
or a
like
Busy
a
Bee.
Busy Bee.
7-Eleven.
Busy Bee. Never heard of that before.
Woo, they're all over Hamilton.
Busy Bees.
Look at you living a privileged life over
Yeah.
here in Burlington. You don't know anything about the Busy Bee.
I was from Lindsay, Ontario. One convenience store owned by the Asian person in town, which was my dad. But yeah, I didn't like we didn't live that life, and I was like, this is nothing like my childhood. And then I started watching it, and then I was like, it's pretty good. And then a week later, I finished 2 seasons.
That's always how they get you.
Yeah, I binge watch everything That's how I watch shows. So I binge watch Kim's Convenience.
Well, you should just binge watch Game of Thrones so that I could finally talk to you about the Game of Zones episode where they just murder the raptors.
Game of Thrones, though, it's just... Is it really that fun to watch?
Oh my god, Boo. Yeah, I'm obsessed. It's seven seasons. And like
Jeez.
hours and hours and hours and hours each season. And I've watched it through 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times?
4 or 5 times. Woo, it's got such depth of detail in storytelling that every time I watch it through, I pick up on new subtle things that I missed the first, second, third, fourth, fifth time.
Okay.
Foreshadowings for the entire plotline series of the book, of the TV series, in like the first couple episodes. I'm like, how did I miss this? If I just listened to these clues from the very beginning, I would have known exactly what was going to happen in season 6.
Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. I'll give you the list of stuff that I currently watch.
Yeah.
It was just recently Kim's Convenience. Suits.
I've heard really good things about Suits.
Suits is really good.
That's the one that's filmed in Toronto, right?
That's filmed in Toronto.
Yeah.
With the guy that was faking that he was from Harvard and he was a lawyer. That main guy, actually, the guy that they made the show off of, he's not on the show anymore. Like they wrote him off because of Meghan Markle marrying the
Prince?
and she is not allowed to act I don't know, I don't really know anything about that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, she doesn't act anymore, so...
I also don't understand why he needed to be written out because...
Well, because they're married in the show around the same time she actually got married, and then...
she became a princess and can no longer be in the show?
Yeah, so they wrote them off the show, but it's still pretty good. So Suits, and then... Though I still watch The Walking Dead.
Really?
Yeah, I still do.
Oh my.
I don't watch the whole...
Is that still new? Like, are there new episodes?
Yeah, well... It ended like a few months ago, but then they're kind of come out with another season.
Season what, 12?
Probably, yeah. But I watch that. I don't like when I watch Walking Dead though. I don't watch the whole episode. I kind of speed through it. Like I download them all.
Yeah.
We're allowed to say we download stuff here, right?
I don't know. You tell me. The government can't find us.
So I download stuff and then how I click through the episode. So in like a 40-minute episode, I'll watch in like 25 minutes.
Why don't you just read plot summaries?
I don't want to do that. I still enjoy watching stuff. Walking Dead. There's a show that was called Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh, that show was really good.
On Netflix.
It was super funny.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I watched Stranger Things, which is pretty good. I binge watched that too.
Yeah. And you held out. You got 2 full seasons to binge watch.
So I waited to see what the hype was, and then they just leave you hanging at the end of every episode.
Oh yeah.
So I have to watch the next one.
That's how they get you.
That's how they're smart. I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
That's a funny show.
Oh, it's hilarious. Do you have any TV shows that you go to over and over again? Like you're tried and tested? You can't really find something new, so you're like, I guess I'll watch this again.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah?
Yeah. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Used to be like Big Bang Theory for me.
Yeah.
I used to watch Big Bang Theory over and over again until like the 10th season, and then it just started. I just didn't enjoy it.
You noticed that there was a pattern. And
Yeah. But Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I've watched many, many, many times.
Yeah.
Over and over again. And there's all the shows from like back then, like 90s shows, like
what?
I used to watch
90210? Party of 5?
No, not those ones. What was I gonna? I have them all downloaded. I don't know why. Nah, I'll bring them up.
You know what shows? There are 2 shows that I watch repeatedly from Netflix as like my go-tos when I can't find anything else. How I Met Your Mother, I think could be, as a whole, one of the best TV shows for like inside jokes and continuity that I've ever seen. It gets me every time. And Tim Allen's Last Man Standing. I think that show is like...
I've never watched that one.
Oh, did you ever watch Home Improvement?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally Home Improvement, except for he has 3 girls now instead of 3 boys. And instead of working at a hardware store, he works at like an outdoor, like a Bass Pro Shop, a hunting store. And then literally everything else is the same. I really enjoy that show. There's a lot of like Obama dissing and Republican hoorahing that I'm not really a big fan of,
Yeah.
but it's a negligible amount.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, big suggestion. But How I Met Your Mother, man. I pushed that on my brother for so long, and then he was like, nah, maybe. And then one day he was like, yo, How I Met Your Mother is amazing. I watched the first 6 seasons the other day.
I get like that a lot. Like I hold out on a lot of shows.
I know,
and
Will.
then-
I know.
and I just
And then
watch
you
them.
hate the first couple of episodes.
Hate the first couple, which is maybe actually I didn't get enough through Game of Thrones.
Yes.
I didn't watch 3 or 4 yet. I just watched the end of 1, and the second one wasn't as.
You
fun
didn't
as-
watch the whole thing of episode 1?
No, I did. I watched
Oh,
all of
right,
episode 1, but
yeah.
I didn't. When I started episode 2, it just wasn't as
Intense.
intense as the first episode. So
Yeah,
I was
the
like,
first opening scene with
no,
the White
this
Walker.
is nothing like the first one.
Oh,
so
whoa.
then I stopped watching.
Such a foolish thing to do.
So,
Oh.
because the first one ended like it was like they had like a monster in the woods,
Yeah.
and like
Monsters
the guy
are
was
still there.
The guy was like running to the door, or like
Yeah.
the woman was running to the door to get away from this like snow monster or something.
White Walker.
But then the second episode, like nothing like that was in there.
Well, the whole thing about Game of Thrones is that there's all these concurrent plot lines that kind of weave in and out of each other's existence, and they all come to meet at a head. And that's the brilliance of the show writing, is that like plot line 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be super connected, while 5, 6, 7, and 8 are super connected, but then all of a sudden 4 and 2 and 1 and 7 are interacting, and it just swings back and forth. It's a delight.
Okay.
Woo.
Once my
There have been several episodes where I'm literally screaming at my TV about what's
Really?
happening. What the? Oh my god!
okay. Well, my kids are starting to sleep a little bit better at night, so
Yeah?
maybe I can spare some time to watch.
Oh, it's
Game
so
of Thrones.
good. You got to do it.
I don't know. I've been watching like movies whenever I have spare time.
Woo! Each episode is essentially a movie.
Yeah.
This last season, the next season rather, that's coming out, they've fully on stated it's going to be 6 movies. It's crazy.
I'll give it a shot.
That would make me very happy, Woo.
That
Finally, somebody to understand.
Game of Thrones.
No, the Game of Zones reference.
Game of Zones. Okay.
I have friends who like the Raptors, and I have friends who like Game of Thrones, but I have no friends who like the Raptors and Game of Thrones.
Maybe you're the weird one.
No, Woo. I guarantee you, if you watch the first 3 seasons and then this episode of the Game of Zones, you will be happy that you slugged through 60 hours of TV.
I've been watching like the last movie I watched was like Infinity War, and I've been like so huge on the Avengers now.
Yeah?
Because I can't watch movies when they come out. Like I just can't anymore.
When you're out?
Like no, I just
Like, you
download
can't
them.
go to the
Yeah, I can't
movies.
go to the movies.
Yeah.
Like, and like before I know it, the movie I actually wanted to watch is like now on DVD.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn it. Well, I
That's fine. You're
I
saving
download,
money.
yeah, I guess. But then when I watched Infinity War, I was like,
This would have been sweet on
Yeah.
the big screen.
it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that like you just think at when it ends, you're like, I don't want to spoil it if anyone hasn't watched it yet, but that's my latest movie that latest movie I just made me go, and I couldn't sleep after either.
Oh my.
It's one of those movies
Where you couldn't sleep?
when I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Either it's like they leave you with like just a not great. I'm
were
giving away too
unsettled?
much. Yeah.
It's okay, Woo.
So many parts in the movie that you just think,
But that's life, Woo. Sometimes there are those moments where you go, and people don't realize how often that happens, and you need to learn to deal with those.
I guess.
Woo, once the podcast wraps up, I'll let you in on the insider info about the plot line.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. 'Cause I've been reading a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you're obsessed? You're going through
Kind of, yeah.
articles?
All like these Android, like switching over from like iPhone to Android.
Yeah.
Like, everything I search,
Yeah, they start prompting you
On-
with
yeah.
information.
my news feed is everything. Like, I searched the Kardashians one time. Every single thing is about like Kim Kardashian or Kourtney Kardashian or Tristan Thompson.
It was like that Bubba Sparks song, booty, booty,
Yeah.
booty, booty, rocking everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm a little for some reason I click on, like, when it comes up, like Kardashians news.
Yeah.
For some reason I still click on it though.
Are you obsessed with
I'm beginning. I'm starting. I know more about them than
your
I would
average
like.
bear?
Yeah.
I think my sister will be happy to hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can talk Kardashians.
Kardashians and the Jenners.
And the Jenners?
Yeah, and
How did
Jenners.
that come up?
Jenners came up because
The
like,
Kardashians?
Yeah. No, Jenners came up because like a month ago there was an article about Kendall Jenner.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the cover of a magazine and it said like she's a self-made billionaire,
Oh, right.
right? From her cosmetic
line?
company. Yeah. So I was kind of on her side. I was like, yeah, I could see she's a self-made billionaire. And then Esther, like my wife, she's like, no, you're dumb. You can't possibly seriously think that she's a self-made billionaire. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about this calmly.
Yeah.
And my arguments were like, okay, like you can't just give like 200. Let's say she started with 200 million, right?
Yeah.
I know my arguments are not solid, but you give 200 million to someone, not everyone can turn that into like 5 times more.
Correct.
She like there's some motivation that you still have to have. You can't, like, there's people who are just going to take that money and sit back and enjoy the rest of their lives doing nothing, just partying or just relaxing, buy a nice house, buy a nice car,
Yep.
and just live. My argument is like she's put in some time in her business. Yes, she can hire people. She can hire a great lawyer. She can hire a great consulting
Marketing.
company. Yeah, but she still put in that time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy, and she still markets, like, on YouTube as well. She still markets herself. She puts herself out there. Like, even, like, I know what it's like being in front of a camera. It's not easy, but she's also doing similar stuff like that. So what I see is just the effort.
Yep.
She's putting in a little bit of effort compared to, like, other maybe, like, 18-year-old, 19-year-olds that would just take that money and just...
She's an 18-year-old.
Oh, she's like 19 or 20 or 21. She's
Yeah.
pretty young.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying, okay, fine. Like, I understand she's not really self-made billionaire, but I don't see why people are so angry. I'm like, just people are so angry, and like,
Yeah, well, because she had a massive head start.
yeah,
That's like me saying, here, I'll give you $20 and you can be a self-made hundredaire.
but who cares? Like, okay, like if someone, okay, fine, if someone gave you like $100,000 or
Yeah.
let's say $50,000.
Yep.
To start a business. That's like a big help. You start from zero.
Yep.
Someone says, here, Cody, I believe in you. It's $50,000.
Yep.
Let's get you off your feet. You use that money, you hire like a person to design your logo, consulting. You
Yep.
turn your business into $1 million business. If you say, oh, this guy's self-made millionaire, self-made like company, like people would see you as a self-made millionaire because the scale is so much smaller.
Yeah, but if you look at the difference between 50,000 to
I know, like
a million.
I know, like you can like it. You can
And
use,
furthermore, I wouldn't call myself a self-made millionaire if my business was worth $1 million. I would only call myself a self-made millionaire once I had $100 million in liquid assets. Or sorry, $1 million in liquid assets.
yeah. Just Kylie Jenner's not really a self-made billionaire. I don't believe she is either. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's my wife. Just was like,
You felt
Oh,
attacked.
man.
You wanted to.
yeah, she was just attacking
you wanted
me.
to
She was like-
digress.
yeah. She was like, no.
By the way, I'm on Esther's side with this. You're just an idiot.
I know. I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. I don't truly believe she's a self-made billionaire. But then Esther was like,
I mean, there are subtle arguments on both sides, but
it's not news. It's just,
Exactly.
I'm just telling you what my wife
came
and I
up on
argue
you.
about. Ooh, sometimes when you just have nothing to talk about, that's what we talk about. So I was like literally sitting at the table. I'm like, have you seen this thing about Kylie Jenner? And then she's actually, she studies the Kardashians because I said, like, maybe you should help me, like, make my videos.
Yeah.
Like, just, they see them, like, they're just documenting their life and people are watching that. So I was like, maybe you should document me and we can, like, make a show. And then she was like, okay, so I got to learn how...
they film.
Yeah, how they film. So she was like searching them and watching a bunch of Kardashian stuff as well. So
Yeah.
our family has become like we
A
keep
test.
tabs on the Kardashians now.
If anything, she should be watching the Open Gym series.
The Raptors?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that
the
would help too.
Kardashians.
Yeah, that would help too. She's not really interested in Raptors.
Till she sees the Raptors.
Yeah.
Serge Ibaka, he's a good-looking guy.
She knew who Serge Ibaka was when he got traded.
Exactly.
I was like, how the
Exactly,
hell
bro.
do you know who Serge Ibaka is? She's like, what? I know who he is. And I'm like, but why? You've never watched the game.
Yeah. Did you ever get an explanation?
No. She's just like, I just heard of him.
She likes the name.
No.
It's a pretty cool name, though. Surge.
But we argue about weird stuff.
Yeah. It's better to argue about weird stuff than serious stuff.
Like, she believes, like, if you're going to be, like, a billionaire, you have to know every single thing about whatever you're in, which I agree with. Like, she's like, if she doesn't know about other skin types and how that's going to affect my skin or how her line is going to make her skin look better
Yep.
and all the things in her line, if someone asked her a simple question, like a little girl asked her a simple question about her makeup, she wants to know that you know every single thing about that product because it's your company. Or she's saying, like, and she doesn't. She would need someone else
To come in
Yeah.
and address it.
So, I know. Just fun arguing about,
Hypotheticals.
yeah. And then finally she's like, I'm not talking to you about this.
Can I take a guess? That you just kept pushing her about the argument?
I did.
And eventually she was like, we're
Yeah.
done.
I was like, do you know what it's like being in front of the camera?
Yeah, well, she was on your IGTV.
Yeah. And I asked her, like, oh, you know, people love this stuff, like, with couples, like, arguing. Why don't we make a podcast? She's like, no. She just simply said no and walked away. She's like, don't try to involve me with anything. You just have fun with Cody, and
Yeah. We'll get you.
Right.
One day.
we'll have her on, maybe, if she agrees.
Wives of Woo.
Sorry, I'm scratching my ankle. The wasp thing is
I know, I can
super
see you
itchy.
wincing in pain.
It's super itchy.
You're like limping over there in your chair.
Super irritating. I don't know, like, I've never... Ugh. It's like worse than a mosquito bite.
You gotta put honey or something on it.
My mom put miso, like something similar to like miso, like fermented soybean.
Yep.
That's like an old Korean tradition. She put that like paste on my ankle and patched me up. I got
Mama Bear.
pampered just from a wasp sting.
You're silly, Woo.
I'm good for this week's podcast. What
Yeah.
about you, Cody?
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening. We'll see everyone next week.
Ciao.